Over the next few weeks, 50 million students all across our country are going back to school. And here in Montgomery County, there are 150,000 students, some of them who might be making that trip to school for the very first time. That will begin in the next few days. Some of them will be riding buses to school. Others will be walking, riding their bikes, or being passengers in cars, and still others are going to be driving their cars to school. No matter how our students go to school, they need to go safely. At the NTSB, we investigate transportation accidents, and unfortunately, we see all too often the tragic consequences and the impacts that traffic crashes can have on kids. We see many lives senselessly cut short. 30,000 people die every year in traffic crashes. Today, what we want to talk about is how to protect our kids when they travel back to school. At the NTSB, we're committed to 0 deaths on our nation's highways, and it's events like this, education and public awareness, that help to get some of that word out to the community. So I want to just recognize the work that's being done here today, this morning. Emily was my trainer about 10 years ago when I got my child passenger safety certification to be able to do seat checks. And Mr. Fitzgerald has already talked about, since 1999 here at Fitzgerald, they have checked over 44,000, and Emily mentioned to me it's 44,006 car seats. And thank you. I see George in the back there. I know that you and the Consumer Affairs Division were part of that very first effort in 1999. So George and Emily and Jack, thank you so much for the legacy that you have given to this community, for your leadership, and for making all of those kids safe and helping those families to make the right choices. For many of us, our kids are going to be going back to school. I have 3 boys, and they go to school in Fairfax County. And next month, those 3 kids will be boarding a school bus to go back to elementary and middle school. I know that riding a school bus is the safest way for kids to get back to school. So parents, as you're talking to maybe your kindergartners about riding the bus for the first time, or you're talking to your older kids, make sure that they understand that riding the school bus is safe, but they need to be aware of safety when they're boarding and exiting the bus, as well as they're on the bus. For other families, their kids might be walking or biking to school. It's important to talk to them about safe routes back to school, about the paths and the sidewalks that they might use, and also about those traffic safety devices and the crosswalks. The third way kids may be getting back to school is driving. And for parents of teen drivers, please make sure that you adopt a driving policy in your household. Reach an agreement with your teen about how to best reduce their risks. The way that you can reduce risk for your teen drivers: restrict the number of teen passengers that are in the car with them. Make sure that they always buckle up when they're behind the wheel, and limit their nighttime driving. Finally, restrict the use of portable electronic devices behind the wheel. And finally, a message for all drivers. This isn't about the kids who are going back to school, but the adults who are going to be on the road with those kids going back to school. Be safe around school buses, in neighborhoods where there are children, and in school zones. As school starts again, please allow yourself extra time and be patient when you approach that school bus that might be stopped and loading kids. And most importantly, make sure that you are completely focused on the driving task. Put down those electronic devices and focus on the road. Remember, no matter how our kids get back to school, we want to make sure that they get there safely.